Hey everyone, welcome back to another lesson for this Sunday. I hope y'all have had a really good week and I hope that y'all have had a great start to your summer. Today we're going to be continuing kind of our series as a church of bones, and last week we kind of talked about what it meant to be part of the body of Christ, really. And we talked about how we're all part of the structure or the bones of the body of Christ and what that may look like in our lives right now. And today we are going to be continuing our discussion, but actually kind of looking at what your life might be like if you kind of hit this kind of valley of dry bones that we're going to read about in the Bible today. And it's in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel is in the Old Testament. It's kind of back there, but we're going to be looking at chapter 37. And we're going to be looking at a few verses that I'm going to be reading, verses 1 through 14. Yeah. And I'm just going to go ahead and read it, and you can read along with me. And I'm reading NIV version today. So it says, "The hand of the Lord was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. He asked me, 'Son of man, can these bones live?' I said, 'Sovereign Lord, you alone know.' Then he said to me, 'Prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the Sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord.' So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, 'Prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, Son of man, and say to it, this is what the Sovereign Lord says. Come, breath, from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that they may live.' So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army. Then he said to me, 'Son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. They say our bones are dried up, and our hope is gone. We are cut off. Therefore prophesy and say to them, this is what the Sovereign Lord says. My people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord, when I open your graves and bring you up from them. I will put my spirit in you, and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I have done it, declares the Lord." So really what I want to do to kind of summarize all of those verses is really talk about the first beginning chunk of Ezekiel being in this vast valley of dry bones. Now, that's something really interesting to kind of think about. I think of a desert, and I think about a desert where it's hot and it's dry and it doesn't rain very often, and where there may be dry bones in the desert. And what does that look like in our life sometimes? You know, in this series, kind of what we're going to talk about are kind of the low valleys in our life, where that may be something disappointing, something really hard you're going through, or maybe right now where we're eagerly, patiently waiting, maybe impatiently waiting to kind of get back to normal, and how that can kind of look like a valley of dry bones for us sometimes. And I want us to look at the Lord saying, I will put my breath into you and you will come to life. And even these dry bones in the desert, we don't really know. In this valley though, came to life with the breath of God, and there was tendons and skins, and they came to be a full being instead of being dead, dry bones. And what does that look like for God to breathe life into us? And what does that look like for us to kind of be like Ezekiel, and God through us breathe life into other people? And I think that's something really cool that is one of those things where you may have done it in someone's life, but then as your paths keep crossing and as they may go through their own life, you know, that breath that you breathe in them from God starts to show up, and you may never see it, and you may never see the fruit that comes from that, but anytime you show God, that is God's breath through you, and that is breathing into someone else's life. And how cool, I just think that's really cool. It's kind of like a domino effect of a chain reaction of God's breath through all of us, and kind of showing from what we talked about last week of being the body of Christ. And how does it look like in our own lives when we are in that valley? You know, when we're in this dry, desolate place and we don't see God, or we don't feel God, we don't feel that breath of God. And it's one of these things where I think about the verse we talked about a couple weeks ago of you do not know what I'm doing yet, but we will see. And it's one of these things where the breath of God is working. He's working in our lives. He's working through us. He's working through people in our lives for us. And we will see it afterwards. And like it said in the last verse, then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken and I have done it, declares the Lord. And then we will see how he has worked in our life once again. And it's one of these really cool kind of ripple effects where in these dry, desolate places, God will still show up. And God is still there, even if you don't feel him, even if you don't see him, even if you don't hear him, he's there with us. And his spirit is there and his breath is flowing through us. And so one of the main things I want y'all to think about this week is how can you be kind of a vessel for God's breath this week, and whether that's through your friends, whether that's through mom and dad, and through these really interesting times right now, especially when things are wanting to get back to normal. What does that look like for us to be calm and have that breath of God of being calm in a very hectic, kind of unsure situation that none of us have really gone through before? And what does that look like for us looking for the breath of God and looking for that from other people and realizing it and seeing that and seeing God in that and in someone's actions or their words? So I want y'all to go through this week and remember that and read this whole chapter. The whole chapter is really interesting, Ezekiel 37, but definitely that snippet of the first 14 verses are what we were focusing on today. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I hope to get to see y'all soon and hear from y'all soon, and I will see y'all again next week.